Hello everyone, welcome back to another multiplayer battle. We're looking at a 3 versus 3 and I brought in GROMBRINDAL. I brought in a different army than I usually do. I actually have miners in my army. I have a Goblobber. I have a Grudge Thrower. We're looking at 3 miners, 1 being the Ekron miners who are that regiment of renown. 2 Thunderers, 1 Ranger group. We're looking at Dwarf Warriors and the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass as well. The Old Grumblers, we've got a Rune Priest too. And that is largely my army right now. Let's go look at what we're fighting. Oh, and let me go show you GROMBRINDAL. I did make a video on him, but I want to show you him again. I like him a lot. He's adorable. In an angry, I hate type of way. There he is. Hey, Grom. Hey, how about that? Looking good. I'm allied with a Chaos player. They brought in Sigvald. Aspiring champions are brought along as well. We've got an Exalted Hero. And we have a Beastman player bringing in Gorbulls and his own little quirky army over here on my side and on the right flank. I'm fighting a Dwarf player in the very beginning. I didn't know that he was bringing up Rangers with his miners. I saw the miners, and I had my Grudge Thrower and Goblobber go after the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass over here. Bolt throwers are very cheap, and they can get a few kills, do some damage, but they're not really a big deal. But these guys can do some big damage, and they're a lot more than Dwarf Warriors and miners. I brought up my Rangers right now, my Thunderers too. Again, I brought in a new army, and I wanted to try out that new army because I knew that I had a hero that was, one, not cheap. He's not cheap at all. I think he actually needs to be a little bit cheaper. But he's not cheap at all, pretty tough, and I wanted to use him to reinforce my soldiers. I mean, he gives a lot of leadership. If you go look at mine now, 94 leadership, 87 for my Thunderers. If we go look over here, only 50 leadership, and it's going down. So I have a lot more leadership than they do. That's why I don't break here. I just kind of wait around. I do my own thing. They're charging me in the very beginning, trying to do something. I don't know what. They don't have blasting charges. I do. I'm bringing up my miners right now. I'm still shooting. Done a lot of damage as it is right now. We're looking at Quarrelers who were destroyed by one beautiful Cygor. Let's go check it out. They're charging in. And they get to fight for a moment. I pull them back at the last moment. I bring in my own miners to go mine them. To pick up some trouble. I'm going to pick at them. And we're still going for it right now. I've got my Thunderers who are about to unleash hell. They have more armor than Rangers do. Rangers are okay. They're cheap. They're neat, right? But they have very low armor. I have more armor. I have a Rune Priest who can buff up my soldiers even further. I'm bringing him over here. I gave him a rune. Hold on, let me show you that rune real quick. That rune's right over here. You can pay for it for extra. Hold on, I'm trying to carefully get to it. Master Rune of Grungni. So I take 20% less damage. Not only do I have a lot of armor to offer, I also offer more damage resistance. And look at all that leadership that I add to everyone. We're looking at over 100 leadership for miners alone. My goal here is to outlast them. I don't need an expensive, crazy army. Now I want to have all these leaders supporting me, and my allies do not really get to fight yet. They brought in Cygors. Cygors are so good for fighting an infantry-based force. If we go look at it, they outnumber us big time. They have a lot more than we do. And that Cygor is a great help. That Beastman player helped me out a lot. He brought in 3, which was actually a good call. Kind of dangerous because we didn't have proper support, but he brought in Minotaurs, and he actually micromanaged pretty well. Look over here. 45 kills already for one of my artillery pieces. We're throwing blasting charges at them now. Destroying their Rangers, who have been upgraded a bit, which is pretty crazy. I definitely wouldn't do that. They're too cheap. They're okay, but if they go poorly, they're not going to get very far. Ooh! And they try to shoot, but they can do nothing but die. What a shame. And in the very beginning, we're already routing a very significant part of their army. They're shooting at my Thunderers a bit, who've taken more damage. They've been hit a lot. They got bolt throwers back here, getting a minute amount of kills. In the collective battle that we're fighting, that's not really a big deal. The Vampire Count player's heading through the middle. Had he hit a flank, he probably would have had a better shot. I don't know. They brought in a lot of bolt throwers, which is really what you don't need to be doing. You can't dictate range like that. They're okay because they're cheap, but I don't really have a use for them yet. They're like, okay, if I have extra gold, I might get them, but, not really worthwhile. Trying to protect that is a pain. Now they're charging in again, and I'm reforming. Grom's killed 9. We're looking at 0 for my Rune Priest, of course. I'm using a Rune of Wrath and Ruin upon their warriors over here. They're now being shot at by my Thunderers. They're dropping already. We're looking at 20 before they can even clash with me in melee combat. And I have my own Longbeards, over 100 leadership, 95 armor. They're old Grumblers too. Oh, and I did bring in the Grumbling Guard. They can give me 30% more vigor, which is my stamina. That's incredibly powerful. That means that I'm gonna be able to outlast you in a battle. Imagine boxing me for like an hour straight because I just won't go down. Then bam, I'm still fresh while you're tired. That is the strength of the Grumbling Guard. Now I have my miners over here, hitting their quarrelers, trying to use explosive damage to hit them very hard. They managed to pull through with their Warhounds, and they did a lot of damage going after their bolt throwers. So, I mean, that's like, what, 500, 550 gold per? So that's a lot of gold gone. And I'm still shooting over here, using my range units to go after their own miners and quarrelers, who they may have forgotten about. Let's go ahead and check out the battle before they clash. Okay, they're all charging again. We're looking at a gyro bomber. That didn't come bomb me, thankfully. That could have done a lot of damage to me, or anyone. I mean, they already got over 50 kills. They can get a lot of kills, but it's kind of hard to micromanage that. Oh, will it actually hit? Oh, man. Close one. Very dramatic. But they got a Hell Cannon over here, got another army. We got the Chaos Knights moving in. Yeah, it's a 3 versus 3. I don't mind when they turn down the unit sizes. Usually when I do that with pubs, and I've only done it with pubs, you'll have someone with like a really bad internet connection or PC, so I don't mind. Now I'm moving into flank again. I have handily taken care of my player. Now I get to help out the vampire counts. I'm carefully using my range. I don't get a chance to really look at what they're doing over there on that flank, but we're looking at knights right now taking care of their bolt throwers. Exalted heroes, yeah, they're all just moving in. Lun and... Hold on, did he bring in Grom too? No, he brought in Beligar. I thought he had Grom. Here's the Grave Guard. I did use a flash bomb. The melee defense goes down. They're very slow now. Look at that melee defense. 0 melee defense. That means if I go in there and hit him, I probably should have charged in with my miners immediately. That would have done a lot more damage. But it's a very powerful debuff. For almost half a minute, too. Minotaurs are charging in. Miners have used their blasting charges to mix them up. Over here, I'm still shooting at them using my Rangers and my Thunderers. I'm bringing in my infantry right now. If we were fighting the orcs, I would have had a much tougher time because they can just flank you all over the map. Here is a conventional battle, and it's really where I can excel at. Now, the vampire counts had a lot going on. I mean, let's just go look at that real quick. They're all over here clashing. I was actually very shocked my allies held for as long as they did. Now, I'm beginning to retarget to acquire a new target for my artillery. I start to hit over here where I can get a lot more kills. I end up getting a lot of kills with that. Over here, we're looking at dwarfs beginning to flee. We got knights clashing right through them. Knights are very powerful. We've got an exalted hero making them flee. All the terror and fear that they're experiencing is causing them to flee. And I'm over here just taking my time. I do use a Rune of Wrath of Ruin upon the ethereal units that can do a lot more damage. He just begins to fall apart when I get after him. He does use a potion, so he's able to last for a very long time. But any magic you have, you can use on their heroes, and they'll drop like flies. It's very effective. I keep my runes up, which again, I have high leadership, I have high armor. Everything about me is going to make your life hell because I just won't break. Whereas, I mean, I can even outlast a vampire count player, which is insane. I bring in cheap units, and that's all I really needed. King Lun, 12 kills. And I drove this player out completely. The Cygor definitely did help me out. I mean, look at that. That's a lot of kills. 160, 151. They helped me out a lot. I mean, I probably would have been fine on my own. No, I would have, but it definitely did help. And I'm over here now trying to... I'm probably out of... Yeah, I'm out of missiles right now for my Rangers. They don't have a lot of missiles to begin with. Only 51 kills. My Thunderers can do a lot more. And look at that. Twice the armor. That's important to me because I can outlast my foes. I'm all about outlasting my foes with a Rune Priest, not Prince, and Grombrindal. And over here, we're just looking at them taking huge hits. They have blobs of infantry now. They're not being flanked by Chosen. Oh, they're actually over here on our side, and they're being hit very hard. We're beginning to win the battle. It's going in our favor now. I'm all over the place. I got like my little dwarf cross going. I got my artillery back here, still lobbing, giving that leadership penalty. And I always use up my buffs and debuffs and things like that. It's very good that I do that. There's Vlad fighting Prince Sigvald. Ooh, Sigvald's gonna have a good time. I use my rune. Now, I should probably... Oh yeah, and for fun, I use my Grombrindal Has No Fear, and it makes every unit on the map unbreakable. From what I understand about it. Which is pretty damn cool. That means if you're having a close match and you pop that up, holy hell. It's a one-time use, but you're gonna have a great day. No one on your team's gonna break. And that might be what you need to get that extra leg. It's an ability that you need to time well. I mean, you can use it at the beginning of the match and it'll do nothing for you. But if you time it well, yeah. Every unit on the map will not break for that duration of time. And over here, of course, we've got our ethereal units. Magic's very important to be them. Exalted Hero taking a lot of damage. We've got Hawkenhoff and Throny. We're looking at Veligar as well. And we've torn through them. I mean, the sheer amount of bodies here are incredible. The Vampire Count player fell apart nearly immediately. We definitely have the tools to fight Vampire Counts. Yeah, see, as I told you, the Beastman player was a floater. He kind of used Cygors as a stationary unit. Very powerful, anti-infantry. I mean, like, really, our artillery was able to wreak havoc upon them the entire time. That Hell Cannon, when allowed to fire like that, pretty incredible. Slow to fire, does a lot of damage. And I've got my own army moving up now. I'm getting ready to go fight another stage of them. We got more Quarrelers over here. We're looking at Minotaurs now charging in. There we are. We're looking at Hawkenhoff. Pretty much at the conclusion. I'm going to fast forward for a little bit. I move up, I begin to hit them, make them break. The Minotaurs are clashing right through them, breaking them. They got some bolt throwers who are not even properly aligned to fire. They're like in a linear line, which is strange. That way we can kill them sequentially. Okay, over here we're looking at Cygors fighting and trying to crush spirits. Okay. I should have come down here as quickly as I can, which is not very quick. I mean, I can use all my boosts for, what's it called? Grombrindal, and he's still slow, like 48 speed. .525 weapon strength, very powerful. 45 for a charge bonus. Only 36 skills right now. The White Dwarf is a legendary figure, the mightiest living Dawi warrior. Indeed, my friend. Beligor is probably stronger, though. He's incredibly powerful. Okay, we won. That's it. I used my rune on them, and they used spells on them. We lost, or I lost 139. Chaos player lost 237. The Beastman player barely brought anything, like a lot of Minotaurs, so that's actually a pretty good number. If you go look at it real quick, Grom got 36 kills, 9 kills from my Rune Priest, average amount of kills from my basic line infantrymen, a lot from my Grumbling Guard, a lot from my Thunderers, and my artillery, even my Rangers at 51. Okay, Revan, not a lot of kills at all. Kind of fell apart pretty quickly. Lost Vlad. We're looking at Rourke Roar. Nothing really to talk about here. Garo. He probably did a little bit more damage, but that's only with ethereal units. But he brought in a very unconventional build. These guys have brought in very unconventional builds, and I mean, I brought in a new one, but you need stuff that can actually kill. We're looking at the Beastman player. Alone, his Cygors destroyed everything. The cosplayer 207 for his Hell Cannon alone, and he did fine. He held a long time against a lot of units, and he uses Knights and his Hounds so well. So I had a pretty good team. I didn't know how well we would do. I get kind of worried when I see a Chaos player, but he actually did well. I'm very proud of how he did, so good for him. Soulman did well. I mean, they were great allies, and I had my own team going on, and I killed a lot as well with just very cheap units. My army, relatively cheap. If you look at it in comparison, I brought in a lot more than they did, generally. Not any bolt throwers. I don't believe in those. I don't believe in that. I'm not about that life. But anyway, go ahead and leave a like down below if you'd like to see more. Let me know if you want to see more Grombrindal, Beligar, whoever. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to leave a comment. As always, until then.